गौतम गंभीर को गुस्सा क्यों आता है, और जब आता है तो बहुत आता है। और हालांकि मैं उनकी पॉलिटिक्स के बारे में कुछ नहीं कहना चाहता, लेकिन ये ज़रूर है कि आई एडमायर द मैन एंड आई एडमायर हिज ग्रिट, also the stand he has taken in life post his playing days getting over. I also like Gautam Gambhir for his anger, because anger is pristine, it is pure, and the thoughts are pure. And we will share some bits of his recent interview to a TV channel which completely went viral, it trended, and for all good reasons. I have with me my good friend CS, and he would have a lot to say, not only on what Gautam did, but I still remember in our last chat, he said, सबसे ज़्यादा अगर ऑस्ट्रेलिया किसी से डरता है वो रवि अश्विन से, and we all know that he was the first guy to be dropped, which is such a pathetic story. So welcome on the show, CS, and let's begin with Gauti. And where Gauti is concerned, what he's basically, a couple of points we will hit, because we have to go on to the WTC, and we promise that it won't be a post-mortem. We'll try and look ahead, because one is tired of post-mortem examinations, which means that you're looking at a corpse. So let's begin with Gautam Gambhir. And the first point that he made in that interview, which I thought was very interesting, is that he said that India is a nation obsessed with individuals, and while cricket is a team game, very few seem to remember that, and we are always focused on certain names. In the 70s, it was Sunil Gavaskar. I remember Kirti Azad, my very dear friend, saying, "उस समय तो सिर्फ गावस्कर ही था, हम बाकी डैश डैश थे." So then it became Sachin Tendulkar, then it became Dhoni. So we seem to forget the fact that it is a team game at the end of the day, and Gautam Gambhir has his own angles to a lot of things. But CS, let's open this by what you feel is the reason behind this individual obsession. And Gauti has also hinted and spoken very clearly about certain PR agencies and broadcasters being involved in promoting individual brands.
If you remember, ये जो agents वाला system है, this is a very dangerous trend. This started in before Ganguly came, but during the Ganguly's captaincy, this became the main thing, the in thing in Indian cricket. If you are with Ganguly, obviously, entire 5 or 6 people from his PR agency will play. If you and later on, with Dhoni continued with the same. In fact, Dhoni opened his own agency in order to promote such players, and during his time, a lot of his close friends joined his own Riti Sports. Again, this all started way back, but mostly it was a trend in 2000 after post that fixing saga where Azharuddin obviously got suspended or life ban, and later on all this new generation came in. So there was a lot of I would say promotion by these people, and individuals को आपको भगवान बनाना शुरू कर दिया. And starting from Sachin Tendulkar, obviously he was a great player, but who promoted Sachin? That was also a PR kind of thing.
Yes.
I remember the first time I reported in Times of India, I went to English team came for their full tour in India. So I managed to get in touch with Darren Gaw. Darren Gaw was their star player. It was one of the 5-star hotels, either Taj or this ITC Moria. So I went there. He was sitting there on the pool side. I just got hold of Gaw while everybody else was chasing their captain, and also I was the second man there. My senior was doing all those things. So I managed to catch hold of him, and he just said one thing: Sachin is god of cricket. Sachin is a god. So that was a headline for me. It came as my front page story. Obviously, everybody praised it, and from there on, PR agencies, everybody took off from there. But the point which I was trying to make was कि instead of जैसे players को आप जैसे WTC क्या हुआ, आपको 5 players उनके लेफ्टी है, you are not making strategy for them. और आपका बुमराह जो आपका स्टार प्लेयर है, जो स्ट्राइक बॉलर है, if he is absent, then obviously you have to get 2 instead of बुमराह in order to get the same kind of strike. तो आप अपने मेन स्ट्राइक बॉलर अश्विन को साइड कर रहे हो, बुमराह को आप खेल नहीं पा रहे हो, और जो बाकी ला रहे हो वो उनके लिए आप एक तरह से केक वॉक ला रहे हो, लाइक लेफ्ट आर्म स्पिनर फॉर लेफ्ट आर्म प्लेयर. So obviously उसके लिए ऑफ स्पिन हुई, और ऑफ स्पिन खेलना is the easiest thing in the world, and that too of Jadeja, who is not a off spin. I always believe is half spinner, half pacer. So I mean kind of thing. So Indian
Serious. Here,
cricket,
I just want to develop this point further. Like you very rightly said that Dhoni had his own at that point, which has, I
favorites.
believe, has been currently dissolved. That Riti Sports was floated by him with his active involvement. He also had the blessings of N. Srinivasan. That is a point that we have discussed in the past. That not only was he BCCI president at a point, but also head of a very powerful group with a lot of money power behind him. The way also Sachin Tendulkar was projected by a gentleman back in time who later died in a strange road accident.
Yes.
And Ravi Shastri was his agent also for a while and promoted that contract of 5 years. And at that point in time, something like a 50 crores or 35 crores, if I remember correctly, you would know that.
100 crores.
100 crores.
That
Right.
He was the first one to got that deal. 100 crores.
Right. So all of this, was it done just for obviously when you're talking about super branding for an individual, that is where the money comes in? Is it just money driven?
Obviously, that was the time, if you remember, after 1987 World Cup, money started pouring into the Indian cricket. And obviously, post that fixing saga, where we actually came to know that captain is making a lot of money and other players were deprived of the same amount of money. So obviously, a era started with Lalit Modi later on, but initially with Mark, which we were talking about, he died unfortunately. So that era started where you started making a player a god of cricket, and then obviously giving him lot of money, 100 crores at that point of time. I remember when the other players were not even getting 1 crore, endorsements. So it was a kind of bombshell tha wo sabke liye, box office hit tha, and they started projecting them as a god. And later on, with lot of men, I can name a lot of people who were their agent, players agent, and there was a time when Dalmia and Sharad Pawar, they both condemned this thing. In fact, BCCI came up with a policy कि प्लेयर बिना बीसीसीआई की परमिशन के हम किसी एजेंट को नहीं वो करेंगे. Player agent involvement was so much that when Virat Kohli or before, during that time, Rohit Sharma or everybody, when they were the junior cricketers playing World Cup, under 19, I did a story. Lot of other people also did a story that all these players agents were there in Sri Lanka, during that World Cup, and they were signing these players for damn, cheap money, because that was the time. If you take them for say 20 lakhs for next 3 years and you get them into the Indian team, you are going to make a lot of money, and that's what exactly happened. Players complained to BCCI that we have been signed, during that time. Now our endorsement is still the same with a little bit of fluctuations, and what to do. So BCCI also tried to stop that, but again, it went out of hands the moment Lalit Modi came in and his ideas and everything. Now you are only interested in playing white ball cricket, and when you lose WTC final, you always curse that pitch was like this, or captain this, or some umpire's decision about the catch. Or the fact was that Cummins was the highest paid player in IPL, but he skipped IPL. The fact is that lot of Australian players, they skipped IPL in order to focus on WTC and Ashes. Their main focus was Ashes, and they have not been compensated that way by the Australian cricket. So that's the priority we have made, and we have chosen to be the white ball player, and we have lost.
Let's move on to another point, CS, which is where Gautam Gambhir talks about Yuvraj Singh, and he feels that Yuvraj Singh was one of the main architects of the 2007 win, and also T20 World Cup win, also the 2011 World Cup win. And he basically he's quoted him by saying that that is Yuvraj always says, I won the World Cup, but I believe that the man who took us to the finals of the 2011 and 2007 World Cup was Yuvraj Singh. I think he was the man of the tournament in both tournaments. But it's unfortunate that when we talk about the 2007 and 2011 World Cups, we don't take Yuvraj Singh's name. Why not? It's only only marketing and PR and portraying one individual as the biggest and everyone else as smaller. His obvious reference is to MS Dhoni because, as we all know, MS Dhoni's last over gamble in that 2007 T20 World Cup with Joginder, and then that hitting the six. It took away the sheen from Gautam Gambhir's own superb innings of 97, which I think all of us should always remember and cherish. And he was one of the main architects of that victory. But somehow it just became Dhoni's World Cups and also the Champions League. And then Gauti himself later said, I think in the course of this interview, that no other captain will probably be able to equal that. But that's a point. How do you interpret that? Is it only rancor? Is it anger? Is it a feeling of sadness that we did so much, but it's only Dhoni, and Dhoni?
You have to understand from the point of view of Gautam that he's now a politician. He has to settle his own scores. But I have a lot of respect for Gautam in certain cricketing sense. By his own batting, and he was a very limited player, but look at the records he has achieved. So gritty, he was so determined, number one. Number two, Gautam never, at one point of time, he was about to become Indian captain. And the way he was performing at that point of time, it was only Dhoni who blocked him, or Srinivasan for that matter. Otherwise, Gautam would have led India for a longer time, number two. And the same thing happened with Virendra Sehwag. It was a choice between Virendra Sehwag and Dhoni. They picked, Dhoni. But at that point of time, if you ask me, the biggest match winner in the world, not just in India, was not Sachin. It was Virendra Sehwag. So you have to, look at these angles. And last, not the least, but the point is, right now, Virendra Sehwag, Rahul Dravid, everybody has an interest in BCCI. Gautam is the lonesome man who is a member of parliament, who has his own, word. Obviously, he's taking a, one step at a time. He's very much involved in his constituency, otherwise in BJP, everything. So he doesn't require BCCI support for him. It's one point that, Jai Shah is there. He doesn't want to interfere because of his bigger boss, all these things. But the point is, Gautam is very, very smart. Gautam is a very well-read boy. He understands a lot of politics. And whenever he attacks somebody, you have to take that with a pinch of salt, because he's frustrated in other sense, in the past instances. But right now, he does not fear anybody. And that's what Gautam is. Gautam was an introvert. Gautam never mingled much with the team players. But on the other side, Gautam was a brilliant player also. Man who had little bit of technique, little bit of talent, but he made so much out of cricket. That's what Gautam Gambhir is.
So that's how we will remember Gautam Gambhir, and good that he gave the interview. And in that interview, he pointed quite a few issues that plague Indian cricket. Most of them are correct, and they need to be seriously looked at. And like CS says, that for a man with limited talent, he really pushed himself and focused and has a splendid record. And no one should forget that 97 of the 2011 ODI World Cup. It wasn't just the last ball six. That way, Gautam Gambhir should be remembered. So let's move on to the second half of the show. And here we are going to look at what really happened at the WTC. It breaks my heart, really couldn't bear to watch it on that Sunday, because I knew in the morning that within 1 hour, we'd probably lose 2 wickets. We actually lost 3. And like CS said, that the only bowler that the Australians fear is Ravi Ashwin, and he was not part of the playing squad. Let's take a quick look at Ashwin's record. And he has 474 wickets. Yes, you heard that right. 474 wickets in 92 test matches and 5 test hundreds. Steve Waugh said that I would have taken him alone just for his 5 test hundreds. Well, and he has taken a fifer 32 times in test matches. And also a point that Sachin Tendulkar made about him, that he said, why are we worried about the fact that it's a spinning track or not? He's one of those guys who is so top of his craft. He'll use basically the drift in the air, bounce of the service to disguise their variations. And do not forget that Australia had 5 left-handers out of their top 8 batters. But CS, I am a huge Shane Warne fan. For the life of me, how many times did Australia leave out Shane Warne on dead tracks, on placid tracks? It is not a spinner's track.
Seriously. Shane Warne, and even if there is a comparison between Shane Warne and Ravichandran Ashwin, if I'll not drop Shane Warne even once, I'll also not drop Ravi Ashwin even once, because even they are very different. Ravi Chandran Ashwin has his own craft. Shane Warne was a complete वो तो magic था. Even then they are completely apart as far as their talent is concerned. But wicket taking abilities are the same. Ravi Chandran Ashwin has brains. He left behind, or whatever, he was dropped. He was obviously, because everybody said he's not a team man. He wanted to be captain. He's a thinker. ये बहुत कुछ चला था Indian cricket में. That's another story. But the point is, when you have 5 left arm batters in your team, how can you drop Ravi Chandran Ashwin? How can you pick Ravindra Jadeja? Yes, as a all-rounder, Ravindra Jadeja should have been picked for Shardul or for anybody else, by dropping them. But the fact remains is, आपका जो main strike bowler Bumrah, Jasprit Bumrah, when he's not there, the biggest match winner is Ravi Chandran Ashwin. When you drop him, how could you even think of taking bowling fast on a track? ये वो ट्रैक नहीं है जिसमें ग्रास दिखती है और ये बॉल उड़ेगी. देखिए, गलत फहमी नहीं होनी चाहिए. इट्स अ समर. द हीट वाज सो मच कि वन ऑफ माय जर्नलिस्ट फ्रेंड वाज टेलिंग मी वहां बैठना मुश्किल है. द हीट वाज सो मच, वहां पर लोग बैठ नहीं पा रहे थे स्टेडियम में. और उस गर्मी में थोड़ा सा ग्रास देखकर, 7 mm का ग्रास देखकर, अगर आप बैटिंग नहीं लेते हो, आप डर जाते हो. बिलीव मी, आई रिमेम्बर्ड वन इंस्टेंस इन फिरोज कोटला. Late Chetan Chauhan, the legendary opener, he was the ground in charge in Kotla, and suddenly one day before the match, Saurav Ganguly was the captain and everybody came. So Firozshah Kotla is a very complete, dusty wicket. अगर उस पे थोड़ा सा ग्रास नहीं रखोगे तो वो, याद है उसके बाद सेम मैच की मैं बात कर रहा हूँ जिसमें हमने कहा था कि सी सैंड पे आप खेल रहे हो, ऐसा लग रहा था समुंदर के रेत पे आप क्रिकेट खेल रहे हो. विकेट बिकेम ऑलमोस्ट अनप्लेबल, और उस पर ग्रास कटवा दी थी गांगुली ने बाय पिकिंग अप फाइट, और बहुत से आर्गुमेंट्स हुए. वी वर देयर, वी रोट अबाउट दिस. चेतन कहता है, यार इनको समझाना मुश्किल हो गया है कि बॉस ये ग्रास विकेट को बाइंड रखेगी, अदरवाइज ये कोटला विकेट है, बिखर जाएगी. सेम थिंग हैपेंड, और मैच करवाना मुश्किल हो गया. 3 दिन में खत्म हो गया. सेम थिंग है यहाँ पर भी. ये समर है, एंड समर, इंग्लिश समर में वहां पर बॉल जो होती है थोड़ा सा, व्हेन ड्यूक बॉल इज देयर, ड्यूक बॉल उतनी फर्म नहीं होती, नंबर 1. और जो वहां की विकेट्स भी है, वो जो कहते हैं ना कि वहां जो लेटर ऑन जब बरसात आती है तो कीचड़ वाली विकेट्स होती हैं. तो यहाँ पर फर्म रखने के लिए इस पे थोड़ी ग्रास होती है, और इस तरह की ग्रास हमेशा बैट्समैन को फायदा करती है, कुछ ओवर्स को छोड़कर. थोड़ी में बॉल शुरू में स्किड करती है, उसके बाद if you are not playing outside India, if you are not skipping IPL to play, county cricket, which Steven Smith or others, Labuschagne, they went there and played cricket because they knew they had WTC final and Ashes. They concentrated on that. हमारे यहाँ सिर्फ लोनसम पुजारा था. Unfortunately, वो नहीं चला. That's another thing. But the fact is, there was only one technically correct batsman, that was Rahane. And thank God, these selectors had this much of brain to pick him up. But on the other side, what is Rahul Dravid doing there? Does he not have any kind of responsibility? Point is, when you are a coach and super coach, Rahul Dravid mean आपके कमरे में हाथी घुस गया है. He has that kind of presence. और हाथी क्या वहां पर सिर्फ बैठने के लिए, सोने के लिए, गन्ना खाने के लिए गया है. You have a team जिसके आपकी स्ट्रेटजी कौन बनाएगा? Mostly a coach along with his other जो स्टाफ है, जो सपोर्ट स्टाफ है, जो वीडियोग्राफर है, वो सब कुछ करके कि बॉस 5 लेफ्टीज हैं, इस तरह के बॉलर्स हैं, तो लेट्स प्ले टीम विच इज मोर सुटेड टू देयर अटैक. आप ईशान किशन को बाहर बिठा रहे हो, हु इज इन ए गुड निक, और आपकी विकेट कीपर ऐसा, भारत कोई ऐसा विकेट कीपर नहीं है कि इट वाज a choice between
Since you've mentioned Ishan Kishan, let's take a pause and move on to a couple of names I have, because this is exactly the point I want to hit, which is that when we talk about the so-called youngsters, who are the youngsters and why are we so afraid of blooding young talent? Now, I have a couple of names. I'll go through them one by one and then we'll have a discussion. Ishan Kishan is 24 years old. Malik is 23 years old. Then on top of that, you have Ravi BISHNOI, who's 22 years old, and Sky, who's 32 years old. The youngest is Yashasvi Jaiswal at 21. But let's begin with Ishan Kishan, who is 24 years old. Now, he became the youngest at 24 years to score the fastest double century in an ODI in December. This happened in 2022. Then he scored 210 runs from 131 balls, reaching the 200-run mark in 126 deliveries. He also became the first player to convert a maiden ODI century into a double. Now, he's also a handy wicket-keeper, CS. So, let's quickly talk about Ishan Kishan. Now, how long does someone like him have to wait within quotes? How long does he have to suffer because he's within quotes young? It is ridiculous.
That's what I was saying, Arup. It was not a choice between Syed Kirmani or any other wicketkeeper. It was a choice between almost a similar kind of wicketkeepers. But yes, a much better batsman, which is Ishan Kishan. He has double century in the one day. He has a good scores in IPL everywhere, wherever he's scoring. Even in Ranji Trophy, he's one guy who has scored heavily in Ranji Trophy. So the point is, if you're dropping, if you're picking somebody like Bharat, then obviously you are so sure about your rest of the batsmen. The rest of the 4 batsmen or 5 batsmen are going to score the chunk of your runs. But that was not happening. Most of the batsmen, they were vulnerable to Australians, and that's what proved. And then one more thing. What is the criteria for picking team for cherry? Obviously the red ball. Red ball cricket, you haven't played for last so many months. The point is, most of your players have skipped Ranji Trophy. Most of your players were only playing 20 overs game, 20, 20, 40. And you could see that the entire team was fined 100% of the match fee because you were bowling the slow over rates.
Right.
The point is 90 overs आप खेलते नहीं हो, 90 overs आपको करते हुए मुश्किल हो रहे हैं.
Yes.
और आप
the next name on my list is Umran Malik, age 23, the young speedster. Now, in April 2021, Umran was selected as one of the 3 net bowlers for IPL with the Sunrisers Hyderabad. Now, he gained attention during the match between SRH and RCB later when he bowled 5 balls in a row at more than 150 kmph. Yes, you heard that right. And he's also he was named in 2022 IPL as the emerging player of the tournament. He's made his T20 debut, he's made his ODI debut, but he's still not used consistently. His wicket tally, basically, the figures that I have before me is in ODI 8 matches, 13 wickets, T20 8 matches, 11 wickets, IPL 25 matches, 29 wickets. So CS, about Umran Malik, even someone like Ravi Shastri at that point had said that he is a bit undercooked. Then there are other big guns who said, नहीं इनको थोड़ा टाइम देना चाहिए. I mean, इनको किस लिए टाइम देना चाहिए? शोएब अख्तर बार-बार वहां से बोल रहा है पाकिस्तान से कि अरे इस बच्चे को आप हमें दे दो, हम ट्रेन कर देंगे, कि यही तो टाइम है. अब और क्या वेट करेंगे, आप क्या सिखाएंगे इसको?
देखिए, 2 ways of approaching his career, obviously. Umran Malik is not something जो भी fearsome है और किसी को मार देगा. मतलब कि इस तरह का वो बॉलर नहीं है जो शोएब अख्तर थे. उमरान मलिक में एक टैलेंट है जिसको आपको एक्सप्लॉइट करना है. आप एक्सप्लॉइट कैसे करेंगे? उसको खिलाने के बाद, और उसको लगातार खिलाएंगे. यहाँ पर क्या हो रहा है, इवन इन आईपीएल अगर उसको 1 मैच खिलाते हैं 2 ड्रॉप कर देते हैं. इवन इन नेशनल टीम उसको 1 सीरीज का 1 मैच खिलाते हैं, 2 सीरीज में ही पता नहीं होता. इससे कॉन्फिडेंस टूटता है. सो इफ आई एम ए कैप्टन, इफ यू आस्क मी, और इफ आई एम ए कोच, ऑब्वियसली मैं उसको टीम के साथ तो रखूंगा, मैं उसको रेगुलरली कहीं ना कहीं खिलाऊंगा. If you have somebody like Bumrah and Shami in your team, I'll definitely pick Umran Malik as third seamer, क्योंकि वो होगा सरप्राइज पैकेज. वो आएगा बीच में कहीं से और उसको मैं कुछ नहीं बोलूंगा, कोई बात नहीं, तो नो बॉल भी मार, कुछ नहीं, बट यू हैव टू बोल एट 150 प्लस. और वो सरप्राइज जो देगा वो, और प्लस वहां जो सीखेगा, जब उसको मार भी पड़ेगी या विकेट नहीं मिलेगी, उसको थोड़ा लॉन्गर रोप दूंगा, बिकॉज ही हैज टैलेंट, दैट रॉ टैलेंट which was exploited mostly by Pakistanis, not by Indians. Never in the history. But if you have a team like Shami and then Siraj and all these players, then obviously I'll not pick Umran for the simple reason he's not your match winner, he's not your wicket taker. So you have to play him according to situation. लेकिन एक और, जब आपने एक स्काई या बाकी की बात की, जो यंगस्टर्स की बात आप कर रहे थे, बिश्नोई या बाकी, उसमें भी प्रॉब्लम ये है कि स्काई हैज शोन यू, और स्काई हैज प्रूव्ड ओवर लास्ट 6 months or so that he is probably a talent for white ball cricket. In fact, white में भी वो 2020 में बहुत अच्छा कर रहे हैं, वनडे में अच्छा नहीं कर पा रहे हैं. So you have to probably make up your mind that this guy is not ready or not suitable for red ball cricket. तो उसको साइड कर दीजिए, उसको यहाँ पर लाइए मत. और यहाँ पर नए बॉल जैसे बिश्नोई है, बाकी है, उनको शायद ट्राई करना पड़ेगा. हॉर्सेस फॉर द कोर्सेज, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि आपको कुछ एक प्लेयरों के लिए टेस्ट क्रिकेट के लिए ब्लड करना पड़ेगा. और उनको ब्लड कैसे करोगे? उनको रणजी ट्रॉफी कभी मिस नहीं होने दोगे, उनको काउंटी क्रिकेट में भेजना शुरू करेंगे.
जब आप स्काई की बात कर रहे हैं तो हमें दर्शकों को ये जरूर याद दिला देना चाहिए कि स्काई 32 साल के हैं. He is 32 years old. I mean, he does not have the time to be rested. And I agree with you there that, okay, he's played only one test match so far. Maybe he's not meant for red ball cricket, but that is a call that BCCI can take. He's played 48 T20s, 23 ODIs, and he's obviously done splendidly well in the T20 format. And he has a lot of fans. But the point is, there is no time to cook these people any longer. We are running out of time. I'll quickly come to Ravi Bishnoi, who is age 22, and he's just played one ODI, 10 T20s, and of course, he's a fixture in the IPL with 53 wickets. And then you have Yashasvi Jaiswal, who had a brilliant season in the IPL in this year. And he's another youngster in the true sense that he's 21 years old, and he's one opener. Again, the experts are saying that he should be played in the T20 league by India, not league. He should be played in the T20 internationals. So let's quickly talk about these two men.
Well, Yashasvi का ये जो season गया था, this was terrific. When he was pick of the season. But again, the point is, as you rightly said, that he has to be played immediately. When you have the form, you have to carry that form into the international level. पॉइंट क्या होता है हमारे यहाँ पर, जब आपकी फॉर्म है तो आप उसको एक आधा साल नहीं खिलाते, जब फॉर्म से बाहर हो गए तो उसको खिलाना शुरू करते हैं. इनफैक्ट ऋतुराज की अगर आप बात करें, ऋतुराज वाज इन ग्रेट फॉर्म फॉर लास्ट 2 सीजन्स. इस साल इतना अच्छा नहीं कर पाए. He was also played, but not the consistently. So you have to pick these players at the right time, because form is never, something that वो permanent नहीं, आपकी class permanent है. फॉर्म को आपको कैरी करना है, और वो कैरी तब करेंगे जब आपको उस कॉन्टिन्यूशन में खिलाएंगे. और इनफैक्ट बिश्नोई, आई वाज वेरी इम्प्रेस्ड विद हिम. यंगस्टर्स, वेरी हार्टी यंगस्टर, इनको खिलाइए बीच बीच में और रेस्ट दीजिए ना. Why Rohit Sharma is captaining everything? Why Rohit Sharma is not younger and he getting any younger, or Rohit Sharma has a problems of injuries. आप उसको लगातार खींच रहे हो. उसको ask him कि बॉस, दिस इज अ टाइम, यू हैव टू पिक बिटवीन 1 और 2 अपने वो कीजिए, और बाकी एक से संन्यास लीजिए. और कप्तानी में भी जस्ट एक फॉर्मेट पकड़िए. और लेकिन ये जो फिर से आपने जो फर्स्ट पॉइंट कहा था, प्लेयर्स एजेंट, प्लेयर्स कंपनीज, ये कंपनीज कभी आपको होने नहीं देती. कभी मुंबई इंडियंस का प्रेशर है, कभी राजस्थान रॉयल्स का प्रेशर है, कभी किसी का. ये सब प्रेशर्स आपके प्लेयर्स को खराब भी कर रहे हैं, और उसमें वन फाइन एग्जांपल इज रोहित शर्मा.
So we have to wind up the show now. It was terribly pathetic to watch our great team fall apart in the WTC final. It was also, for me, also I think for CS2, to listen to the legendary Sunil Gavaskar so angry. I've rarely seen that. He was very, very angry. He was very angry with the way Virat Kohli threw his wicket away. He was very angry with the way...
But the point is, before you close this, thing, you have to understand all these players are very angry, former players, but they'll never criticize your captain or the coach. Why is this elephant there in the room? उसको रूम से निकालोगे, थोड़ा कमरा तोड़ेगा, बट आपका थोड़ा तोड़ के उसको रिपेयर करके नया व्यक्ति को भी तो घुसा सकते हो. When you have allowed an elephant into the room, you have to make sure that he leaves at the right time. Otherwise, he'll destroy your entire team or the core of the team.
You're right there, and Gavaskar did criticize Rohit Sharma, not so much for what he did on the field. Those were other comments, but for Rohit Sharma then coming up with the suggestion that it should have been a 3-match final after you've been brutally thrashed in a WTC final, that is just the wrong time to make these suggestions. So we'll end on the point that it is time. Team India has a lot of potential. There is a lot of talent available in this land, but the way they are being managed needs to be seriously looked at. Even the role of the coach, like CS is saying, and Rahul Dravid has come in for a lot of criticism, saying that he was great in NCA, he was possibly great under the under 19, but can he handle a senior team? Too many mistakes, too many lost chances, nothing on the ICC trophy shelf, and that is something India can ill afford. We'll leave it at that, because otherwise we'll go on and on for several hours, but we'll leave it at that, and we'll be back with lots more. Thanks for watching, and thank you, CS.
Thank you.